Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. The first time it hit me wasn't a fight. It wasn't some dramatic confession or a slammed door. It was a Tuesday morning in our kitchen in Naperville, the kind of morning we'd done 1,000 times. Claire stood at the counter in her robe, coffee steaming, phone angled toward her chest like it was a secret she had to protect from the FBI. I came in, set my briefcase down, and leaned in for our usual quick kiss. That little good luck, don't die on I-88 ritual. She didn't move. Not even a half turn. Not even eye contact. The moment I got close, her thumb flicked and the screen went black. I paused, because my brain was still trying to be polite about it. "You good?" I asked, keeping my voice normal. I waited. Nothing. I nodded at the phone. "What's got you so locked in?" She didn't look up. "Nothing. Just scrolling." "Must be some incredible scrolling," I muttered. That earned me a sigh. Not a tired sigh. A theatrical one. Like I'd asked her to carry a refrigerator upstairs. I poured my own coffee and watched her reflection in the microwave door. She was staring at the dead screen now, like it might talk back. "Claire," I tried again. "Look at me for 2 seconds." She finally glanced up. Cold eyes. Neutral mouth. No warmth. "What?" she asked, like I'd interrupted a meeting. I let it sit. I've been in corporate long enough to understand tone. It wasn't stress. It was distance on purpose. I grabbed my keys. "Let's do something tonight. Dinner. Just us." Another sigh, louder. "I'm tired, Ethan. You don't see that?" "Not now. It's Tuesday," I replied. "Not a hostage situation." She gave a tight little smile that didn't reach her eyes. Funny. I reached for her hand on the counter. She slid it away like she hadn't even realized she did it. That was the part that stuck. The automatic flinch. I stopped my hand midair and pulled it back like I'd touched a hot pan. "Okay," I said. Calm. "No dinner." "Thank you." That word, thank you, landed wrong. Like she'd just won something. As I walked out, I told myself the grown-up story. 20 years, routines, maybe she's burned out. Maybe I've been too focused on work. That's what reasonable husbands tell themselves. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have treated that dead phone screen like a fire alarm. I drove to the office with my jaw set and a quiet new rule forming in my head. I don't chase affection in my own house. That was the first loop in my mind. What's on the phone? The second loop showed up before the week was over. On Wednesday, I came home late. A normal late. Not a, "I forgot I have a family" late. I walked into the kitchen and found Claire laughing at her phone. Actually laughing. Shoulders loose, eyes bright. For half a second I felt relief. There she is. Then she noticed me, and the laugh died like someone cut the power. "Hey," I greeted, hanging my coat. "Hey," she answered, already setting the phone face down. I lifted an eyebrow. "You were having fun 2 seconds ago." "It was nothing. Everything is nothing lately." She opened the fridge like she could hide inside it. "Can you not do this?" "Do what?" I asked. "Notice." She shut the fridge too hard. "I don't have the energy for your analysis." I leaned against the counter. "I'm not analyzing. I'm asking why you've been acting like I'm a coworker you don't like." She rolled her eyes. Oh my God, there it was. That little disrespect spike. Not loud, just sharp. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't plead. I just adjusted. "All right," I said. "If you're too tired for a marriage, you're definitely too tired for my calendar." "What does that mean?" she snapped. "It means I'm not doing the come home, get ignored, repeat routine." I grabbed a glass, filled it with water. "I'm going to the gym after work tomorrow. Don't wait up. Don't plan anything with me unless you actually want to be there." Her eyes narrowed. "So now you're punishing me." I gave her a flat look. "No, I'm reclaiming my time." She scoffed. "You're being dramatic." "Claire," I replied, slow and even. "Dramatic is crying on the floor. This is me changing my schedule." She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Good. She'd gotten comfortable with a version of me that always absorbed her moods. That night, I slept fine. Not because I was happy, because I'd stopped trying to earn basic respect. Thursday, I told my buddy Marcus at work about it. Marcus is the guy who speaks in blunt bullet points. He's been divorced once and treats relationships like contracts with feelings attached. He listened while we ate lunch in the break area. "So she's cold, secretive, and dismissive," he summarized. "And she's glued to her phone." "I'm not saying anything," I replied. "I'm observing." Marcus chewed, then nodded. Observation is good. Action is better. You need a boundary. I set one, I told him. My time isn't automatic anymore. Marcus leaned back. Good start. Next step is access. People don't respect what they can use without consequences. I looked at him. Access to what? He didn't smile. Your resources. Your attention. Your stability. I didn't love how that sounded. Not because it was wrong. Because it made the situation real. When I got home that night, Claire was on the couch, legs tucked under her, phone in hand. She looked up as I walked in. Hey, she said, softer than usual. That was new. I watched her face. Hey. She patted the cushion next to her. Come sit. I didn't move immediately. I took off my shoes, set my wallet on the entry table, and waited. Let her show her hand. She tried a small smile. You've been distant. I blinked. Interesting. What? I shrugged. I thought you liked distant. You've been practicing all week. Her smile tightened. I'm serious. So am I. I sat, but not close. What's going on? Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. She exhaled like she'd rehearsed this. I think I'm just burned out. There it was. The wording. I've been in the same routine for years, she continued. House, errands, the same conversations. I feel like I lost myself. I watched her. No tears. No messy emotion. Just a clean script. And how does that translate into you treating me like background noise? I asked. She reached for my hand. I let her touch it, but I didn't squeeze back. I don't mean to, she said. I need a reset. Not a breakup. Just a breather. A loop opened. The breather loop. A breather, I repeated. From what? The house I pay for? The life we built? She flinched at the money mention. Not the emotion. The money. I'm not attacking you, she said quickly. I'm saying I need space to breathe. A girl's trip. Just a weekend. Lake Geneva. 2 hours away. A resort. Spa. Quiet. She said it like a brochure. I tilted my head. Who's going? Melissa, Jenna, maybe a couple others. Names tossed out like garnish. And you need this, why? Because I'm exhausted, she replied. And I want to come back, better. For us. She squeezed my hand like she was sealing a deal. I stared at her fingers. Her nails were freshly done. She hadn't had energy for affection, but she had energy for that. I didn't accuse. I didn't interrogate. I just made a decision. Okay, I said. Her eyes widened. Okay. Go, I told her. If you need a weekend to reset, take it. Relief flooded her face too fast. Like she'd been bracing for a fight and got a pass. She leaned in and kissed my cheek. Light, quick. A performance. Thank you, she whispered. I gave a small nod. We'll set a couple rules. Her body stiffened. Rules? Yeah, I replied. Basic respect. You don't disappear. You check in. You don't use space as an excuse to erase me. Her expression flickered. Annoyance, then smoothness. Of course, she said. I'm not trying to hurt you. I held her gaze. Good. That night, she was almost sweet. Almost. She made tea, asked about my day, laughed at a joke. It felt like the old Claire for a moment. That was the first illusion. Softening right after a boundary. I didn't melt. I just watched. Friday morning, she packed like a soldier. Efficient. Too efficient. She had outfits planned, toiletries lined up, phone charger wrapped neatly. Not the chaotic girls' trip packing I'd seen in our younger years. I helped carry her suitcase to the trunk. She gave me a quick hug in the driveway. I'll text when I get there. Do that, I replied. She smiled. Love you. It sounded automatic. Like a cashier saying, have a nice day. I didn't fight the urge to demand more. I just nodded. Drive safe. Her car backed out, and she was gone. The house got quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Off quiet. Friday night, I sat at the kitchen table with paperwork from work and my phone beside my plate. I expected the basics. Made it. We're here. Good night. Nothing. By 10, I checked my screen again. Still nothing. I told myself she was relaxing. Then I told myself relaxing doesn't mean vanishing. Saturday morning, still nothing. No photo. No, we're grabbing brunch. Not even a lazy emoji. That's when the grown-up logic turned from polite to sharp. A person who's on a normal trip sends proof of life without thinking. Not because they're being monitored, because they're sharing their world. This wasn't that. I didn't call 10 times. I didn't spiral. I did what I do at work when a number doesn't match. I verify. I texted once. Simple. You good? An hour passed. No reply. I called. It rang, then went to voicemail. I stared at the phone a second, then set it down. All right, I said to the empty kitchen. We're doing this. My initiative wasn't a tantrum. It was logistics. I went upstairs, opened our shared desk drawer, and pulled out the folder with our household accounts. I didn't touch anything dramatic. I didn't cancel the lights. I didn't play games. I opened my laptop and changed one thing, my direct deposit. From joint to my personal account that still existed from years ago. It took 5 minutes. Then I opened our shared credit account and lowered the daily spending limit. Not to punish, to prevent surprises. If she was living like she was single, she could do it on a budget that didn't include my paycheck as a silent sponsor. I texted Marcus. Something's off. No check-ins. Phone straight to voicemail. He replied fast. Don't chase. Verify. And protect your base. Exactly. By mid-afternoon, my irritation wasn't emotional. It was professional. Claire wasn't recharging. She was running a controlled blackout. So I made a choice I could live with. I'd go there. Not to beg. Not to fight. To see. I grabbed a small bouquet from the grocery store on the way out. Not because I thought flowers fix anything. Because it gave me a clean reason to be there. A romantic surprise. A harmless approach. If everything was innocent, she'd laugh and hug me and call me a sweet idiot. If it wasn't, I'd know. The drive to Lake Geneva was smooth. Too smooth for what was in my head. I pulled into the resort parking lot around early evening. The place looked like money. Clean lines, warm lights, people dressed like they belonged in a weekend ad. I walked in holding the flowers like a guy who still believed in his marriage. The lobby smelled like citrus and polished wood. A bartender was shaking something behind the bar. Couples walked by with that relaxed weekend glow. And then I saw her. Claire stood near the bar, laughing, real laughing, head tilted back, hand on a man's arm. He was tall, neat haircut, confident posture. The kind of guy who thinks he's charming because nobody has corrected him lately. His hand rested on her waist like it lived there. I stopped walking. My brain tried to save me for half a second. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's someone from the group. Maybe it's nothing. Then he leaned in. She leaned in. And they kissed. Not a quick peck. Not a oops. It was familiar. Comfortable. Like they'd practiced it. My whole system went quiet. No shaking. No rage explosion. Just a clean internal click. This wasn't a reset. It was a cover story. I lifted my phone, steady, and hit record. 10 seconds. Enough to capture faces, the lobby, his hand on her waist, her smile, the kiss. Then I lowered the phone, turned, and walked out. I didn't approach her. I didn't give her the chance to turn it into word soup. I didn't give that guy a role in my life. Outside, the air was cold and sharp. I got into my car and sat with both hands on the wheel. This is the end, I told myself. Not a discussion. The end. I drove back toward Naperville like a man leaving a meeting where the deal died. No drama. Just execution. On the way, my phone buzzed. Claire. I let it ring. Then it buzzed again. Then a text. Where are you? I actually laughed once. Short and humorless. Now she wanted contact. I pulled into a rest stop, parked, and typed one message. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk when you're home. Not angry. Not pleading. Controlled. I drove the rest of the way in silence, already planning the next moves. Sunday evening, I was in the kitchen when the garage door opened. Claire walked in like she'd been practicing a calm face. Her suitcase rolled behind her. Her hair was done. Her makeup was careful. She froze when she saw me sitting at the table. Hey, she said, too casual. Why didn't you answer? I nodded at the chair across from me. Sit. Her eyes narrowed. What is this? It's me taking my life seriously, I replied. She sat slowly. You're scaring me. I gave a small, tired smile. That's a new line. Ethan. I held up one hand. Stop. Before you talk, answer one question. Did you go with Melissa and Jenna? Her lips parted, then closed. Yes. I looked at her like she'd just submitted a report with the wrong numbers. Try again, I said. Her tone sharpened. Why are you interrogating me? I told you I needed space. I leaned back. You didn't need space. You needed a blackout. Her eyes flashed. You're being paranoid. I slid my phone across the table without unlocking it. Say that again. Her gaze dropped to the phone, then flicked back up. What is that? You tell me, I replied. Her throat moved as she swallowed. Ethan, don't do this. I already did, I told her. I went to the resort. Silence. Then she exploded into a fake laugh. You followed me. I verified, I corrected. You disappeared. I checked reality. You're controlling, she snapped. I nodded slowly. There it is. When you get caught, I'm the problem. She leaned forward, voice lowering. You had no right. I matched her tone. You had no right to use me as a financial safety net while you play weekend freedom. Her face hardened. So that's what this is? Money. It's respect, I replied. Money is just the part you made obvious. She stood up. You're overreacting. It was just. Don't, I cut in. Don't insult my intelligence. I saw what I saw. Her hands opened in a helpless gesture. Okay, fine. I met someone. So what? I needed to feel alive again. I stared at her. And the plan was what? Come home Sunday night, crawl into our bed, and act refreshed. Her voice turned icy. You're not perfect either. I laughed, genuinely this time. That's the best you've got? You're not perfect? She flinched. You work all the time. You're never here. I'm here, I replied. I'm the reason this house runs. I'm the reason you could find yourself at a resort. Her eyes widened with anger. So you think you own me? I think I fund the lifestyle you pretend you don't depend on, I answered. And I'm done funding disrespect. She folded her arms. So what now? You're going to throw me out. I stood up. Calm, steady. Now you live like the person you've been acting like. She scoffed. You can't just decide that. I can decide what I support, I replied. Starting today, my paycheck doesn't hit the joint account. Your spending limit is capped. We're not doing shared access while you run secret weekends. Her face went pale. You did what? I adjusted reality, I said. No more pretend. She stepped closer, voice suddenly softer. Ethan, listen. I didn't mean for it to. I held up my hand again. Save it. You didn't trip. You planned. Her eyes flicked away. It's complicated. It's not, I replied. You wanted freedom without losing comfort. You wanted me quiet and supportive while you did it. She opened her mouth, then closed it. I nodded. Exactly. That night, I moved into the guest room. No argument. Just a door closing. She followed me down the hall. Ethan, she called, voice pleading. Please, we can fix this. I paused at the guest room door. You don't fix disrespect. You remove yourself from it. I shut the door. It came at 2 a.m. when my phone buzzed with a message from a number I didn't recognize. Hey man, Claire said you'd be cool. She's staying with me next weekend too. I stared at the screen a long second. Derek, I said out loud, tasting the name like something bitter. Loop 3 opened. She was already advertising my compliance. Monday morning, I went to work like nothing happened. Suit on, coffee in hand, meeting scheduled. That's the thing about being the stable one. Life doesn't pause for your personal mess. But I did make one stop. HR. Not for drama. For procedure. I updated my emergency contact and removed Claire. Then I updated my benefits elections. Quiet, boring, adult steps. On my way out, I ran into my manager, Tessa. She's sharp, direct, and doesn't do sympathy theater. She glanced at my face. You look like you slept in an airport. Home, I replied. She studied me. You okay? I'm functional, I said. If I need a day, I'll take it. Tessa nodded once. Good. Keep it clean. And if anything spills into work, tell me before it becomes a surprise. I don't do surprises, I replied. At lunch, Marcus was waiting. He took one look at me. You verified. I verified, I confirmed. He didn't ask for details. He didn't need them. What's your move? I'm setting terms, I told him. No shared life while she runs a second one. Marcus nodded. Good. You're not negotiating your dignity. That evening, Claire tried the second illusion. I got home and found candles on the kitchen table. A home-cooked meal. Her hair down. Soft eyes. It looked like a scene from the marriage she'd been ignoring. Hey, she said gently. Can we talk? I set my keys down. Talk about what? About us, she replied. I'm sorry. I've been selfish. I took in the table, the food, the effort. You're apologizing now, I observed. She stepped closer. I panicked. I felt trapped. I did something stupid. But I love you. I tilted my head. Is Derek part of the apology, or are we pretending he's a weather event? Her face tightened for half a second, then smoothed. I ended it. I almost smiled. Almost. You ended it, I repeated. When? Yesterday, she said quickly. I told him it was a mistake. I nodded. Show me. What? Show me. I repeated, calm. Call him. Right now? Put it on speaker. Tell him not to contact you again. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. Her eyes widened. That's humiliating. No, I replied. Humiliating is you kissing him in a lobby while I'm holding flowers like an idiot. She flinched. I didn't know you were there. That's the point, I answered. You weren't worried about me being there. You were worried about you being caught. She shook her head, voice getting sharper. You're enjoying this. I actually laughed. Claire, if I enjoyed this, I'd be a different kind of man. I'm finishing it. She swallowed, then reached for my arm. Please. I'm trying. I stepped back. Not dramatic. Just a clean inch of space. Trying would have happened before you turned your phone into a vault, I replied. Trying would have included basic respect. Her tone flipped, fast. So what do you want? Punishment? For me to beg? I want clarity, I said. You don't get to live in my house, use my stability, and treat me like I'm optional. She stared at me. This is our house. I pay for it, I corrected. You live here. Those are different roles now. Her jaw tightened. You're threatening me. I'm informing you, I replied. New rules, separate accounts, separate bedrooms. And you don't take trips under my roof while lying to my face. She threw her hands up. So you're just done? 20 years and you're done. I nodded. Yes. Her eyes filled, finally. But it didn't hit me the way she thought it would. It felt late. Tactical. She wiped her cheek. You're cold. I shrugged. I'm clear. She turned away sharply. Fine. If you're going to act like this, maybe I should just leave. I nodded again. That would be a responsible choice. She spun back, shocked I didn't chase. You don't care? I care enough not to let you run my life, I replied. She stormed upstairs. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. A photo from an unknown number. Derek. Shirtless gym selfie. Caption, tell your wife I said hi. I stared at it, then deleted it. Not because it hurt. Because it confirmed the pattern. She hadn't ended anything. She tried to soften me, regain access, and keep the weekend life going. I didn't confront her with the photo that night. I didn't need another argument. I needed leverage and a clean exit. Tuesday, I made my foreign territory move at a small get-together Marcus hosted after work. A few co-workers, a couple neighbors. Nothing fancy. Just adults talking over snacks and bad jokes. Claire showed up uninvited. Marcus opened the door and blinked. Hey. Claire smiled too wide. I brought brownies. Marcus looked at me across the room like, are we doing this? I walked over calm. Claire, we didn't plan this. She brushed it off. I thought it would be nice. We're married. This is normal. Her voice was sweet, but her eyes were sharp. She was testing. Can she re-enter my world like nothing happened? I didn't play along. Not tonight. I told her, loud enough for Marcus to hear. Her smile froze. Ethan, don't embarrass me. I nodded once. Then don't ignore my boundaries in public. Marcus cleared his throat, uncomfortable. A coworker pretended to suddenly need a drink. Claire's face flashed with anger. So now you're making a scene. I'm preventing one, I replied. You can go. She leaned in, voice low. You're going to regret this. I smiled slightly. That's not how consequences work. Marcus stepped closer, voice steady. Claire, it's probably best you head out. She shot him a look like he'd betrayed her personally. This is between me and my husband. I kept my tone even. You turned it into a group problem when you tried to walk into my life like you didn't light it on fire. Her eyes darted around the room, realizing she didn't have the audience she wanted. She set the brownies down hard. Fine. Enjoy your little club. She left. I didn't follow. I didn't explain. I just stood there, calm, and felt something settle in my chest. Marcus exhaled. That was clean. That's the goal, I replied. When I got home, the guest room door was open. My spare suitcase was pulled out. My clothes were folded badly, like someone angry folded them. Claire stood in the hallway with her arms crossed. I packed some of your stuff, she said. Since you're acting like you're single. I looked at the suitcase, then at her. You packed my things. Yeah, she snapped. Maybe you should go stay with Marcus, since he's your new wife. I actually chuckled. That's cute. You're trying to push me out of my own house. She sneered. Our house. I nodded. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to unpack my things, and you're going to start packing yours. Her eyes widened. Excuse me. I'm not leaving, I replied. You're the one who left. You just came back to sleep under a roof you didn't respect. Her voice rose. You can't make me leave. I kept my voice low. I'm not making you do anything. I'm removing myself from financing your choices. If you want to keep living here, you'll contribute. Bills, groceries, everything. No more Ethan handles it. Her face went pale again. I don't have. I know, I cut in. That's why you played the girls' trip card. You wanted freedom without risk. She clenched her jaw. You're cruel. I shrugged. I'm accurate. She stepped toward me. So what? You're just going to throw away 20 years. I looked her straight in the eye. You threw it away the moment you trained yourself to hide your phone from your husband. She stared at me like she wanted me to crack. I didn't. The next morning, when she tried one last angle, social pressure, I came downstairs and found our neighbor, Linda, in the kitchen with Claire. Linda's the type who smiles while gathering information. Oh, Ethan, Linda chirped. Claire told me you two are going through a little rough patch. I set my coffee mug down slowly. Did she? Claire gave me a look that said, play nice. I looked at Linda. We're handling it. Linda nodded like she was entitled to more. Marriage takes work. I smiled politely. So does honesty. Claire snapped. Ethan. I glanced at her. What? We're doing mature conversation today, right? Linda's smile got awkward. Well, I just hate to see you two. I cut in gently. Linda, with respect, this isn't your job. Claire's eyes flashed. Seriously? I turned to Claire. You brought a neighbor into our kitchen to pressure me. That tells me everything I need to know. Linda suddenly found the countertop fascinating. I should probably go. Yes, I replied. You should. Linda left, fast. Claire spun on me. You humiliated me. I nodded. You tried to recruit a witness. I declined. She threw her hands up. You're acting like I'm some monster. I'm acting like a man who isn't getting played in his own house, I replied. Her voice dropped. Dangerous. So what's your plan? You're just going to starve me out. I stared at her. Listen to yourself. She scoffed. Don't act like you're some hero. You just want control. I gave a small laugh. No, Claire. You want control. You just want me paying for it. Her face hardened. Fine. I'll go. But everyone's going to know what kind of man you are. I nodded. Tell them whatever helps you sleep. She stepped closer. You think you're going to come out of this looking good? I met her eyes calm. I'm not trying to look good. I'm trying to live right. She stared at me, then looked away. Derek thinks you're pathetic. I paused. Then I smiled slow. Of course he does. He's getting the version of you that costs money, and he's not paying for it. She flinched like I'd slapped her with a spreadsheet. She grabbed her phone and stormed upstairs. Seconds later, I heard her on the phone, voice sweet and urgent. Yeah, I might need a place for a bit. Not Melissa. Not Jenna. Him. That was the point of no return in real life, not just in my head. She wasn't trying to fix anything. She was trying to relocate her comfort. So I finished it. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I did logistics. That afternoon, I changed the locks to the home office where our financial documents and my work equipment were kept. Not to punish, because she'd already shown she'd rummage and stage things. I moved my important items into a storage unit. Quiet. Efficient. Then I wrote one page and left it on the kitchen table. Not a love letter. Not a rant. A simple plan. Separate finances remain separate. Shared bills become split bills. Guest room becomes my room until you move out. Communication stays practical. When Claire came home that evening, suitcase in hand, she saw the page and stared. This is insane, she said. I didn't look up from my laptop. It's organized. She slammed the suitcase down. You're really doing this? I nodded. Yes. She tried one last soft voice, the third costume. Ethan, please. I'm scared. I finally looked at her. You weren't scared in that lobby. Her face twisted. You keep throwing that in my face. It's the only honest thing you've given me in weeks, I replied. She swallowed. So that's it. You're done. I stood up, calm, and walked to the front door. I opened it. She stared at the open door, confused. What are you doing? I held it open another second. I'm giving you a clean exit. She looked at me like she expected a speech. She expected emotion she could twist. I gave her one line. The one that felt like a lock clicking shut. I don't share a home with someone who treats me like a placeholder. She stood there, frozen, then grabbed her suitcase and walked out. No shouting, no begging, just a door closing and a life changing. A few months later, I'm still in Illinois, but not stuck in that old routine. I moved into a smaller place closer to work, clean, quiet mine. I bought a different car, not flashy, just reliable and mine alone. My weekends don't feel like I'm recovering from my own living room. I see my friends more. I sleep better. I'm in the best shape I've been in since my 30s because I'm not eating stress for dinner. And yeah, I met someone. Her name's Naomi. She's direct, warm, and she doesn't play games with basic respect. When she texts, she doesn't vanish for 2 days and call it space. It's simple. It's adult. Claire, last I heard, she bounced between places for a while. That free. Life looks a lot less glamorous when the bills aren't magically handled and the safety net stops answering. I don't hate her. I don't sit around plotting anything. I just learned a clean rule and I live by it. If someone wants the comfort you built but won't give you the respect you deserve, you don't argue them into decency. You remove access and you move forward. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.